Throughout the vast sweep of Chinese history, few military generals have left as indelible a mark as Guan Yu, the man who once held Jing province alone, who beheaded Huaxiong, broke through 5 passes and killed 6 generals, shaking both the Chao and Wu camps to their core. He wasn't just a god of war on the battlefield. He was the living embodiment of loyalty and righteousness. Alongside him were 2 priceless treasures, the Green Dragon Crescent Blade and the Red Hare, both of which became immortal legends, closely tied to the heroic exploits of this great warrior. However, after Guan Yu's tragic fall at Cheng, the fate of these 2 divine objects was shrouded in the mists of history. Who claimed them? What became of them? And did they remain loyal until the end, like their master? These are questions that generations have pondered for centuries. In today's video, we take you deep into the thrilling and poignant journey of the Green Dragon Crescent Blade and the Red Hare after Guan Yu's death. From the brilliance of the battlefield to their heart-wrenching fate that brings tears to the eyes. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us so you won't miss the captivating stories of history, legends tinged with mystery and timeless lessons steeped in the spirit of honor and loyalty. From the dawn of time to the chaos of war-torn eras, the image of a hero wielding a mighty blade and charging on horseback into battle has been etched into the hearts of generations, like moonlight piercing 1,000 years of darkness. Among the many valiant warriors who emerged during the 3 kingdoms, one man stands out, revered as the very embodiment of loyalty and righteousness, a shining example of honor, a name that struck fear into enemies, Guan Yu. But what etched Guan Yu into eternal memory was not just his unyielding will, but also the 2 artifacts that followed him through every battle, the Green Dragon Crescent Blade and the Red Hare. One, sharp as the full moon cutting through darkness. The other, red as heavenly fire galloping through storms and dust. Together, they became immortal symbols of his legend. When people speak of Guan Yu, they do not merely invoke the name of a general, they summon an entire era, a noble spirit. It is impossible to separate him from those 2 treasures. They were as inseparable as shadow and form, soul and body. In historical dramas, novels, and Chinese epics, Guan Yu is portrayed as a god of war, tall and imposing with phoenix eyes and silkworm brows, a flowing beard 2 feet long, riding the red hare like a cloud and swinging the green dragon blade like thunder crashing from the heavens. He was admired not just for his combat prowess, but for his moral code. Because of this spirit, those 2 relics became his second soul, tempered with his blood, sweat, and very essence. That is why, when he fell, the world could not stop asking, where did that blade go? Who claimed that steed? History has never forgotten those questions, and today we search for the answers. The Green Dragon Crescent Blade, its very name drips with mystique. Dragon represents the most sacred creature in Chinese culture, symbol of divine power and imperial will. Crescent moon refers to the blade's curved shape, sharp as a crescent moon in the dark. Legend has it that the blade was nearly 2 zhang long, weighing 82 jin in the Han Dynasty, equivalent to about 50 kilograms today. A weight so heavy only heroes of extraordinary strength could wield it in battle. Even more astonishing, it was said to be so polished it could reflect the moonlight, and so sharp it could cleave wind and shatter enemy will with a single strike. But what made the blade legendary was not its weight, it was its forging, a tale so eerie that every retelling sends shivers down the spine. Guan Yu refused to use a common weapon. He traveled across the land seeking master smiths, carrying with him a jade pendant from his childhood, believed to be a dragon scale. On the night of the full moon, as the forge blazed, the jade glowed. Omens appeared in the sky, and the flames surged unnaturally high, as if guided by divine power. The smiths were shaken, but Guan Yu remained unmoved as a mountain. When the blade took form, a storm erupted and blood rain fell from the sky. The blade glowed red, roaring like a dragon's cry. The masters believed the blood was from a green dragon, its spirit drawn into the blade. Guan Yu, unfazed, bowed to heaven and earth. He named the weapon the Green Dragon Crescent Blade, moon-shaped, forged in dragon's blood. From that moment, the blade became Guan Yu's sacred companion. In every battle, it seemed to come alive, slicing the air with howling wind, cleaving foes with terrifying force. Eventually, people stopped calling it the Dragon Blade. They called it Guan's Blade, a tribute to the man who imbued it with indomitable spirit, making even the boldest soldiers quake at its sound. Historical records claim that throughout his military life, Guan Yu slew exactly 1,780 enemies with this blade, coincidentally the same number as the blood drops that fell on it during the forging. Coincidence or fate? After Guan Yu's death in Jing province, the hearts of all under heaven trembled, armies wept, and even the heavens seemed to mourn the fall of an extraordinary hero. Yet, beyond the sorrow of losing such a towering figure, what haunts the memory of later generations is the fate of his two legendary companions, the Green Dragon Crescent Blade and the faithful Red Hare steed, which had ridden with him through countless battlefields. When the hero fell, who claimed his sacred blade? When the master died, did the divine steed still gallop? Historical records tell us that after Guan Yu's death, the legendary blade, known as Guan Dao, fell into the hands of Pan Zhang, a general of Eastern Wu. Pan Zhang had taken part in the campaign against Jing province and played a direct role in Guan Yu's demise. After securing the city, he found the blade and rejoiced as if he had seized a divine scripture, convinced that with such a heavenly weapon, he could roam freely and fearlessly across the land. But alas, a blade with spirit cannot be wielded by just anyone. The Green Dragon Crescent Blade had been forged with Guan Yu's will and blood. It would not serve the unworthy. According to legend, once in Pan Zhang's possession, the blade brought him no glory, only misfortune. In every battle, it felt heavier, unbalanced in his hand, refusing to move with his will. Some say this was because Guan Yu's unsettled spirit still lingered, its energy fused with the blade. Others believed that a man without honor could never wield the weapon of a true gentleman. Whatever the cause, Pan Zhang could not hold on to the sacred relic for long. Ultimately, Guan Xing, Guan Yu's son, led his army to avenge his father. In a fierce battle, Guan Xing slew Pan Zhang and reclaimed the blade. Raising it high to the sky, he washed away his grief in blood and honor. Legend has it that the moment he gripped the blade, it gleamed once more, and the roar of a dragon echoed through the air, as if the soul of its original master had returned. From that day, the Guan Dao was no longer just a weapon. It was a living legacy of father and son, a symbol of unbroken loyalty passed from one generation to the next. That tale engraved a timeless truth into the hearts of all who followed. A blade recognizes only the worthy. That which has spirit always knows its true master. No matter how sharp a weapon may be, in the hands of one without virtue, it is but lifeless iron. Yet when reunited with its rightful bearer, even after years forgotten, it will blaze again, like an undying flame against the fiercest storm. And now we must speak of the Red Hare, the noble steed who galloped beside Guan Yu, crossing rivers, soaring over mountains, and braving countless deadly battlefields. Red Hare was not merely a war horse. It was a companion, a soulmate, half of the warrior's very soul. An old saying goes, "Among men, Lu Bu, among horses, Red Hare." This was the same horse that once served Dong Zhuo, then Lu Bu, later seized by Cao Cao, and finally gifted to Guan Yu, a token of deep respect. In Guan Yu's hands, Red Hare seemed to have found its true master. Day or night, through perilous terrain and blood-soaked lands, the steed never left his side. It wasn't just a means of travel, it was a symbol of unmatched speed, strength, and loyalty. In Romance of the Three Kingdoms, whenever Guan Yu appeared, Red Hare was always beneath him, inseparable like shadow and form. But after Guan Yu fell in Jing province, Red Hare came into the possession of Ma Zhong, another general from Wu. Many believed the steed would be trained for new battles. But something remarkable happened. Red Hare refused to eat. It fasted, it drank nothing, its eyes dimmed with sorrow. It gazed skyward in silence, never again letting out a single neigh. The steed would not serve another. It refused to live on without its master. And before long, Red Hare died. Quietly, loyally, heartbreakingly. Some say it died of grief. Others believe it died out of loyalty. There are those who claim it understood the way of heaven, that when its master passed, its destiny too must end. Whatever the reason, the actions of Red Hare left an indelible mark on the ancients' belief that loyalty and righteousness are not reserved for men alone, but also reside in the sacred beasts who stood beside heroes. Red Hare may have died, but the title, the soulful divine steed, lives on. From then on, in Chinese history and poetry, Red Hare was forever remembered as one of the most legendary horses, its name equaling the martial glories of the masters it once served. Guan Yu and Red Hare, the Guan Dao and Dragon Blood. These are no longer mere relics of war. They are eternal symbols of an era where honor, loyalty, and lofty ideals were held above all else. When future generations recall the Three Kingdoms, they don't just remember the battles, they remember the man and the sacred companions who stayed with him until his final breath. Across countless cycles of rise and fall in human history, what people remember most are not merely the fires of battle or the schemes of court, but those seemingly small things that carry the soul of an age. Among them stands the name Red Hare, a steed as crimson as the setting sun. Its fame was not just for its strength and speed, but also for the mystery behind its curious name. Why, people wondered, would such a powerful warhorse be called a name that evokes the image of a gentle rabbit? Could there be a deeper meaning behind the name Qi Tu that most fail to see? Indeed, the character Tu usually denotes a rabbit in Chinese, but the ancients never named things by appearance alone. There was always meaning hidden beneath. Ancient texts such as Records of the Three Kingdoms, Book of Wei, and Biography of Lu Bu describe Red Hare as a horse of blazing red without a single stray hair, capable of running 1,000 miles in a single day, leaping over mountains and rivers without tiring. That fiery color was Qi. As for Tu, many scholars suggest it was an archaic term for a rare type of wild divine horse, not a rabbit, as later misunderstood. Thus, Qi Tu should be interpreted as a horse as red as fire, not red rabbit as commonly mistranslated. Even more curiously, folklore tells of ancient horses with short heads, upright ears, and sharp eyes, traits reminiscent of rabbits, being seen as omens of strength and spirit. These paradoxical details only added to Red Hare's legend, blurring the line between myth and reality. Ancient Chinese words are like veils of mist. The deeper you look, the more sacred truths emerge. And in the name Qi Tu lies the nobility, the distinct appearance, and the unwavering loyalty of a soul-bound steed. But Red Hare's name was more than just a poetic title. It was a symbol of destiny. It was no accident that this horse passed through the hands of the greatest heroes of the Three Kingdoms era, from the infamous power wielder Dong Zhuo, to the mighty warrior Lu Bu, to the cunning strategist Cao Cao, and finally to the righteous Guan Yu. With each change of master came a shift in fate. In this sense, Red Hare was a mirror of history itself, its gallop etched into the unfolding events of a turbulent age. This is why the phrase, "among men, Lu Bu, among horses, Red Hare," lives on, a tribute to two icons representing the pinnacle of martial prowess and speed. Yet, while Lu Bu was a peerless warrior, he was also a traitor, ready to sell his loyalty for gain. Red Hare, in contrast, embodied the opposite, absolute loyalty and honor. Its final act, refusing to eat after Guan Yu's death and choosing death over serving another, was the ultimate testament to its unwavering spirit. Still, Red Hare's story was not the only one to stir the hearts of the world. In the Three Kingdoms era, other war horses also earned a place in history, each with its own legend, character, and mark on the age. Among them were three famed steeds, Ying, Dilu, and Night-Shining Jade Lion, each one a battlefield deity that saved its master from death or played a key role in legendary victories. Ying was the beloved horse of Cao Cao. Cao Guo, the brilliant tactician and shrewd warlord. The name Ying means so fast that even its shadow cannot keep up. Legend says that during the ambush at the battle against Jiang Xu, Cao Cao was caught off guard, his troops scattered, defeat imminent. In that desperate moment, Ying pushed its body to the limit, carrying Cao Cao through enemy lines. Even after being struck by 3 arrows, it ran on. Only when a 4th arrow pierced its eye did the horse collapse. It fell, but never surrendered. Its death became a symbol of courageous loyalty, moving even the cold-hearted Cao Cao to tears. Next came Dilu, a steed whose fate was steeped in misfortune, yet who once saved the life of Liu Bei, the future founder of the Shu Han dynasty. Originally, Dilu belonged to General Zhang Wu, until Zhao Yun slew him and brought the horse back for his lord. Liu Bei cherished the horse dearly and planned to offer it to Liu Biao in a bid for alliance. But upon seeing white markings around the horse's eyes, Liu Biao believed it to be a master-killing horse and refused the gift. Ironically, during a fierce enemy pursuit, it was Dilu who leapt across a raging stream and carried Liu Bei to safety in the nick of time. Touched by the act, Liu Bei treated the horse as a priceless treasure. Yet fate was cruel. When he later gifted Dilu to Pang Tong, his most trusted strategist, Pang Tong was mistakenly killed, mistaken for Liu Bei, on that very day. From then on, Dilu was branded as a harbinger of death, and its ultimate fate faded into obscurity. Lastly, we have the Night-Shining Jade Lion, the divine steed of Zhao Yun, the white-faced general known for both martial prowess and literary refinement. This horse had a coat as white as jade, emitted a faint glow at night, and bore a thick lion-like mane, hence the name Jade Lion. In one episode, Zhao Yun fell into a deep pit, seemingly doomed, but through the exceptional strength of Night-Shining, he narrowly escaped death. In both folklore and fiction, this horse symbolizes resilience and unwavering loyalty, not merely a mount, but a life-bound companion. These stories show that alongside the courage, strategy, and heroism of men, the war horses of the Three Kingdoms played a profound role in shaping its epic history. They were not just vehicles of war, but living emblems of loyalty, righteousness, and the deep bond between master and steed. In the end, when people remember Guan Yu, Lu Bu, Zhao Yun, they also remember Red Hare, Shadowless, Dilu, and the Night-Shining Jade Lion, creatures who carved eternal epics into the earth and sky alongside their masters. From the spring and autumn period to the chaos of the Three Kingdoms, horses were more than tools of conquest. They were soulmates in arms, divine creatures embodying a general's fate. Some perished with their masters. Some were mourned by weeping warriors in bloodied fields, yet few bonds were as deep and moving as the one between Guan Yu and Red Hare. That image has become immortal in the pages of history, etched into memory like a sword's gleam in a silent night. Red Hare's passing after Guan Yu's death was no coincidence. It was a tragic testament to a bond that transcended the divide between master and beast. In times of war, horses were usually regarded as instruments of battle, bound to live and die by command. But Red Hare chose death, not from wounds, not from illness, but from heartbreak, having lost the man it revered above all. The world was stunned by this act. A creature that could not speak, yet understood loyalty and held on to it until its final breath. This, to the ancients, was the ultimate display of virtue, honor forged not through bloodline, but through shared hardship and spirit. Thus, Red Hare was no longer just a divine steed. It became a symbol of unwavering loyalty, of fidelity beyond the limits of flesh and form. Though it no longer gallops across battlefields, the spirit of Red Hare lives on in poetry, novels, paintings, and in the hearts of all who know that honor and devotion are not only found in men, but also in the noble beasts who grasp the true essence of righteousness. A horse may fall, a man may die, but integrity endures. That is what Red Hare declared through its silent, noble death. And from that moment forward, the world would remember it not merely as a horse, but as a moral force in a time of war. A reminder to every generation that while greatness is optional, loyalty to those who deserve it is a duty written in the soul. Alongside Red Hare stood another irreplaceable symbol of this heroic age, the image of the war horses themselves. These were not just beasts of burden, but companions in valor, whose names and spirits became inseparable from the souls of the generals they served. As Red Hare symbolized loyalty, so too did other steeds reflect the virtues of their masters. Shadowless represented cunning. Di-Lu embodied the twists of fate, and the night-shining jade lion stood for unyielding courage in the face of death. Though they could not speak, these steeds gave their very lives to compose the epic anthem of an era where loyalty and honor shone brighter than blades. That is why posterity doesn't only sing of Guan Yu, Zhao Yun, or Liu Bei, but also remembers the names of the steeds who carried them through life and death. In times of chaos, a great general was nothing without a worthy horse. The warrior and his steed were like heart and breath, commander and destiny. One led the way, the other gave all in pursuit. Each gallop marked a step in history. Each victory bore the sweat, blood, and silent bravery of a loyal companion. It becomes clear that horses like Red Hare, Shadowless, Di-Lu, and the night-shining Jade Lion were not merely mounts. They were flesh and soul of the three kingdoms. They cannot be replaced, for each embodied the destiny and essence of their master. Without them, perhaps Guan Yu wouldn't have stormed across Jing province, Liu Bei wouldn't have escaped death by a hair, Cao Cao would have perished at Jiang Xu's ambush, and Zhao Yun might have fallen in an enemy trap. A fine horse is born to serve the worthy, and a worthy man, if he truly loves his steed, understands this. Every mile of conquest is paved not only by will, but also by hooves. The bond between general and steed, though seemingly light, runs deep. What appears ethereal becomes real. This is the truth the ancients passed down. A great leader doesn't just command nations or restore order. He cherishes those who walk beside him, even if they are simple beasts. For one day that beast might be the reason he escapes death or earns eternal glory. In essence, from the tales of Red Hare and the other war horses of the three kingdoms, posterity can glean a timeless truth. Loyalty knows no species. True affection knows no boundaries. A horse may not speak, but its heart shines clear. A man may shout slogans, but his actions may fall short of righteousness. Thus, to live with meaning, one must honor those who stood by them through the storms, lifted them when they fell, and never strayed when the world turned dark. Whether human or beast, when loyalty runs deep, love endures. Horses have spirit, blades have masters. People have hearts, history has soul, In the turmoil of the three kingdoms, countless heroes rose, and countless divine relics emerged. Yet amidst the waves of ambition and webs of deception, what endures most in the memory of future generations is not the blood spilled or heads fallen, but the timeless values that transcend war, unwavering loyalty, heavy with meaning, radiant with integrity. Through what may seem like scattered tales, we see a perfect constellation of loyalty, fate, and virtue that defined the three kingdoms. No steed was merely a tool. Each one was intertwined with its master's destiny, and no general achieved greatness without the aid of a devoted mount. When the master died, the horse grieved. When the horse fell, the master wept. In one lifetime, to have such a companion, isn't that the highest aspiration of the human heart? And so, the greatest lesson we take from these stories is this: power doesn't lie in weapons, but in virtue. Strength is not found in the body, but in loyalty. A man may wield 100-pound blade and ride a 1,000-mile horse, but without a steadfast heart, he is but an empty shell. Yet a creature that cannot speak, read, or seek glory, if it remains faithful to the very end, it deserves statues in its honor and its name engraved forever in the chronicles of time. When future generations erect statues of Guan Yu, they never forget to carve beside him the image of Red Hare and the Green Dragon Crescent Blade. For a great hero is never separate from the companions who helped forge his legend. And when the tale of the three kingdoms is told, it is not only about strategists and generals, but also about the war horses that galloped beside their masters, writing a blood-stained epic steeped in loyalty and honor. If today you were moved by Red Hare's loyal death, paused to reflect on the dragon's blood forged into the Guan blade, or felt a stir in your heart at the sound of eternal hooves fading into legend, then we invite you to continue this journey with us. Subscribe to our channel so you won't miss these ancient tales that still echo with meaning in our modern world. Leave a comment as a resonance of kindred spirits who love history and cherish virtue. Share this video like lighting a new torch for friends and family, so the spirit of 1,000 years won't be drowned out in the noise of today. Because as long as there are those who remember loyalty, righteousness, heart, and honor, Red Hare will still run, the Guan blade will still shine, and the spirit of the three kingdoms will forever live on in each of us. Warm regards to you all. See you in the next chapter.